Morning, everybody. This is first time in a bit that we've been together to do any of these spiritual formation Sundays. Happy to be sitting in somewhat of a circle with you to do this. This is also, we started last week, Ordinary Time, in the church calendar, and I've grown to really love Ordinary Time. It's so simple and basic, and a few years ago, I went through Phyllis Tickle's book of prayers and liturgy for the summer for the Ordinary Time, and like it's really thick and it goes on and on and on, kind of like Ordinary Time, but that's kind of like life. It goes on and on in the ordinary. And so I'm hoping that we can, as we're entering into Ordinary Time together, that we can contemplate the ordinary of our lives and the magic that's embedded in the ordinary and all the tasks like washing dishes and taking a shower, brushing your teeth, the magic, the presence of God that's in each of these moments. Because it's easy to get bored with the routines, bored with sitting in traffic, bored with taking care of our kids sometimes, bored with just what is most of life. And if we find ourselves distracting ourselves from that boredom, distracting ourselves from the ordinary, we miss out on the beauty that is a majority of our lives. I was reading this book on the desert mothers and fathers, and there was a quote in here that seemed really fitting. This is Rowan Williams, Where God Happens. And so this is the guidance coming out of the desert for us, for church communities. The guidance we need is not so much how not to be bored, but how to face boredom without terror. Not so much how to greet everything with spiritual joy and excitement, but how to preserve the quiet motivation to keep our eyes open. So I'm hoping the exercises today that we do can help to open our eyes and our hearts to the magic of the ordinary. So if you would like, there's a couple of cushions if you'd rather sit on the floor, or if you want to kick off your shoes, you're welcome to do that. And if you're comfortable during these exercises, close your eyes. I find that's helpful. I'll have a timer and some music going, but I've got two different ones for us. Oh, there's also some beads here if you want to flip through those, or get some Play-Doh if you need something to fidget with. It's all good. The first exercise we're going to do as we're kind of settling in and getting what we need is just a run through of our commonplace of our life, and contemplating the things we do every day that we may miss. And things, I'm sure we've all driven someplace and not realized that we got there, or what happened along the way. Sure, we've done dishes and just realized that we're done all of a sudden, and we kind of miss the magic of the simple things. So give a second to settle in. So let's take a few breaths. I'm going to start a timer here and just breathe deeply and see what you notice as you're just simply breathing, sitting here with all of us together. If you can, breathe through your nose. Try breathing in deeply through your nose for a few seconds, holding that, and then exhaling, trying to match the exhale and inhale. Settling in the simplicity of our breath, allowing it to represent your own life, the gift of life from God. As we're breathing here, start to run through in your mind a typical day. From the moment you open up your eyes and go through everything you have to do every day, till the moment you close your eyes. Just begin making a mental list. And as you're running through this, see what you notice about your own emotions. There's points where you're clenching your fist or shrugging your shoulders, pressing your lips together. See what you notice as you're running through this. As you're drawing your awareness to your emotions and how your body's reacting, is there something that you dread that you have to do every day? On the other side of that, is there something that you truly look forward to that you do every day? Take a mental note of that. Now hang on to one of these things, these tasks, these moments. Whether you dread it or you get joy out of it, locate yourself in that moment. And see what you notice about how you feel. Are there any surprising emotions or thoughts that come up? And staying in that moment, let's try to expand our awareness to all that's happened before and those who've gone before to make that moment happen. And everything that happens after, the people and systems and environments impacted afterwards. Whether it's people sitting with you in traffic or the water going down the drain of the shower. Expand your awareness to what's before and after as you've located yourself in the moment. Now draw your awareness back into that moment, just you experiencing it. What would it be like for you to realize that God is there with you in that moment? Before and after it, yes, but also right there in that everyday moment. What does that do for your experience? Take a couple moments there and reflect on that. As you're here with God in this moment, notice your body, how that's responded. If your breathing has gotten shallow, or you've started to tense your shoulders or your fists, bring awareness to that and see what you're holding on to, maybe let go. Now, in these last couple of minutes, wonder if there's anything that you could tell the Lord, tell the divine in this moment. Or maybe there's something you need to ask for, as this everyday, ordinary moment will come again tomorrow and the next day. What do you need from God in that moment? right, take your time coming back, opening your eyes, adjusting. Take a few minutes to discuss if you want to, or share what you experienced, how you find yourself now, maybe anything that surprised you, just whatever comes up. This next one, we're just going to do a meditation on a passage of Scripture. And I think through most of ordinary time, we're going to do our best to do our exercises and sermons and everything from the Old Testament, from the Hebrew Scriptures. Be a good practice for us. So this is something that may be familiar to you, Samuel's call. The Lord calls Samuel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read it through the first time, and I'd like you to just listen and notice, see what words or phrases shimmer to you. And we'll pause, and then I'll read it through again, and I'd like you to invite you to put yourself in Samuel's place in the story, and then I'll have just a few prompts and questions at the end that we can meditate on. Another 13 minutes here. Now the boy Samuel was serving the Lord under Eli. The Lord's word was rare at that time, and the visions weren't widely known. One day, Eli, whose eyes had grown so weak he was unable to see, was lying down in his room. God's lamp hadn't gone out yet, and Samuel was lying down in the Lord's temple where God's chest was. The Lord called to Samuel. "I'm here," he said. Samuel hurried to Eli and said, "I'm here, you called me?" "I didn't call you," Eli replied. "Go lie down." So he did. Again the Lord called Samuel. So Samuel got up, went to Eli, and said, "I'm here, you called me?" "I didn't call you, my son," Eli replied. "Go and lie down." Now Samuel didn't yet know the Lord, and the Lord's word hadn't been revealed to him. A third time the Lord called Samuel. He got up, went to Eli, and said, "I'm here. You called me?" Then Eli realized that it was the Lord who was calling the boy. So Eli said to Samuel, "Go and lie down. If he calls you, say, 'Speak, Lord, your servant is listening.'" So Samuel went and lay down where he'd been. Then the Lord came and stood there, calling just as before, "Samuel, Samuel." Samuel said, "Speak, your servant is listening." Take a moment and notice what words and phrases shimmer to you. I invite you now to place yourself in Samuel's place in this story. Now Samuel was serving the Lord under Eli. The Lord's word was rare at that time, and visions weren't widely known. One day, Eli, whose eyes had grown so weak he was unable to see, was lying down in his room. God's lamp hadn't gone out yet, and Samuel was lying down in the Lord's temple where God's chest was. The Lord called to Samuel, "I'm here. Samuel said. Samuel hurried to Eli and said, "I'm here. Called me?" "I didn't call you," Eli replied. "Go lie down." So Samuel did. Again, the Lord called Samuel. So Samuel got up, went to Eli, and said, "I'm here. You called me?" "I didn't call you, my child," Eli replied. "Go and lie down." Now Samuel didn't yet know the Lord, and the Lord's word hadn't yet been revealed. A third time the Lord called Samuel. He got up, went to Eli, and said, "I'm here. You called me?" Then Eli realized that it was the Lord who was calling the child. So Eli said to Samuel, "Go and lie down. If God calls you, say, 'Speak, Lord, your servant is listening.'" So Samuel went and lay down where they'd been before. Then the Lord came and stood there, calling just as before, "Samuel, Samuel." Samuel said, "Speak, your servant is listening." Take a moment and reflect on what it's like to be Samuel in this story. What emotions or feelings come up for you? Maybe how your body's reacting to it. As we're using our imaginations for this, imagine what God's voice sounds like to you, calling your name. What does that sound like? How loud or soft? Near or far? Maybe there's a tone to God's voice that you're picking up on in your imagination. Just non-judgmentally take note of that. Now consider what your first reaction is. You hear the divine calling your name. How do you respond? What's your body do? The story says the Lord came and stood there calling just as before. Keep with your imagination, hear your name being called, and consider how you'd respond to that. The divine standing there calling your name. What words do you have in reply? Silence? For questions? What comes up for you? Now, in this last minute, consider your ordinary life. This was an ordinary evening for Eli and Samuel. What would it be like for you to attune yourself to the one calling you, to listen out for the divine speaking your name, or to be aware of the presence that's with you? What would it be like for you in your everyday life to attune to that? Take your time coming back. Right. How do you find yourself now?